everybody, this is Nikki from Jeff and the Angry Steak. I am interviewing everybody that we're going to have on the next big thing, so that we can see the people behind the music. The series is called The People Behind the Music, and it's to promote the events, but also to give these people a little bit of a voice. You don't actually hear what is they're about at gigs sometimes, and it's quite nice to talk to the actual people. So today I am with Trent from Shadowcaster. Hello, Trent. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, Nikki. How are you?
I'm pretty good. So do you want to tell me a little bit about Shadowcaster?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Shadowcaster was a project I founded in 2021. It kind of started as a solo thing. Through kind of the process as it happens, we've wound up as a six-piece. We always call it pop rock, but I don't like genre defining. So we're a six-piece band, mostly formed out of friends who were in a band during our time at Wairarapa College.
Yeah, because I've seen Thomas. Thomas is in there. I played with Thomas in 3 Mile Brass. Back in the days, a really good saxophonist, eh?
Yeah, Thomas, won't ever just say it, but so fantastic on a saxophone.
Indeed, he was a big inspiration to 3 Mile Brass. He was one of our more experienced players. It was really good to have him, and we were really like sad when he wasn't there, because he was actually quite helpful in tutoring us in different aspects of music. But you guys had a band before Shadowcaster, eh? Because we played with you in one of our very first gigs as Spank, and you were Thistle and Weeds. And
Yeah,
that was it.
what was that? Circa 2015.
I reckon.
It was myself, Christian Perry, Nick Oliver, and Jimmy Afiaki. The Spank with Thistle and Weeds. Very much a covers band that wanted to be more, but never really found the footing to do so.
Yeah, but I think we develop into those roles, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's quite interesting watching you guys, because you've all split off and done different things. Christian is doing his thing, and you're doing your thing. So are you all originals in Shadowcaster?
Um, so we have a few covers, but one thing I said going into Shadowcaster was I'm not doing the cover thing again. There's I had my time with it and it's fine, but really there's music I'm making that I want to put out there that I think is more important than just playing someone else's music.
I think it was quite interesting when you were talking about genre defining. I think people like who listen like to put genres on things, and musicians go, "Oh my god, please don't give me a genre." And then they ask you what genre you are, you're like stumped, because you don't create it with a genre in mind. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's the way that we've always been. People try and define us.
Yeah, and Thistle, I think we were slightly easier to pigeonhole in there because and anyone who knows me knows I was just so into Mumford and Sons. I really leaned on that folk thing, and we wound up in kind of country. Whereas with Shadowcaster, my first thing was like, we're not going to think about what we're writing. If I play it and I go, that sounds pretty cool, we work on it. And so I think a good example is you go to Spotify, we've got Cast a Shadow, which is this Mumfordy folk track, but then we have Eternity, which is a slow synth pop track.
Oh, that's
Totally
interesting.
separate things, same band.
So it's like, what do you say, punky synth?
Synth pop. So it's a very heavy synth, very 80s inspired, I would say.
That's cool. That's cool. It's quite interesting. This as I've been going through this lineup of people that have put their name in, there's been some really interesting music that's come through. There's a lot of things that are sort of referring back to the 80s. I think a lot of young people, it's like interesting for me because that was my teens, but like a lot of people referring back at this moment in time to that era. What do you like about the 80s? Is there something you like about them?
I think the music feels different, right? It's I can't name like that kind of 2010s personally, and it might just be an age thing. I can't like just pull names
Yeah, yeah.
out of
That,
my head and just go, oh yeah, and they had this really iconic thing. Whereas the 80s, they're all these just huge artists with these iconic songs, and it was riffs, it was, and they were characters. It was you had your Bruce Springsteens and stuff that were just these huge acts, and I think part of that's appealing. Having songs that people listen to and really just sticks with them.
Yeah, that's right. Because there was a big song a couple of years ago. Was it blind? Ooh, I feel blinded by the lights. That one.
Yeah, blinding lights. Yeah.
Yeah, blinding lights. That was so 80s. It was like they'd been back to the 80s and transported themselves back and written a song. It almost reminded me of "Take on Me" by Aha. It sort of
Yeah,
felt like that song.
I definitely feel like with music, it's like anything, but kind of as you keep going, it always kind of things come back around,
Right.
and so people start really leaning on it. Because I do think, now you get a lot of those kind of real heavy synth lead liney type songs.
That's right.
Um, it's a great style, and that's the thing. Yeah, it always tends to just come back around and go in cycles.
That's right. So, who would you say your biggest influences are? Because we all have those as musicians.
See, personally, it would be Mumford& Sons, or Marcus Mumford is a huge one for me.
Yeah.
But growing up, it was Cat Stevens, Robbie Williams. I remember Backstreet Boys really well, because I was in that right age bracket.
Yeah. So
Um,
quite a
I,
lot
I
of
think,
Go on.
I think it's a good thing, right? It's so broad, my taste, and then especially when you get into the band environment, and suddenly they have totally different tastes, and so it just builds up and up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and there's so much record. I remember speaking to, well, we were having this conversation, me and my husband, before we had kids, and it was like, well, we had the 60s and the 50s, but like our kids have got this whole bank of recorded music, like more than we had. It's huge. There's so much influence out there now that you can
It,
tap
it,
into.
it is almost scary how much there is out there, and I think the great thing about nowadays is anyone can try and break into that,
That's right.
which is fantastic. But it does mean there's a whole lot of stuff to go through, which can be great and almost not detrimental, but almost intimidating on the face of it.
Yeah, I think that's what's hard, isn't it? Trying to break through now because there's so much out there and everybody is their own little record label that you have to shout quite loud to be heard. And I think, probably doing gigs like this where we can get our local audience in front of these and the originals bands that like people have forgotten about, that things that happen in their own community. It's really important to get them there so that they can see what's happening. Especially like young people. Like when I was growing up, I saw bands, but like people only hear it on Spotify now, unless they get out to concerts. So it's that's the challenge for us originals bands, I
Yeah,
think.
and it certainly is. And like, obviously within the past, especially the 3 years with the spicy flu and everything that happened, it became really hard because we stopped having that opportunity to go out there, and
That's true.
and so a lot of our success with Shadowcaster has been measured in Spotify specifically. Like this, just in the past few days, we finally crossed 1,000 individual listeners a month,
That's
which
cool.
was huge. We've almost hit 1,200 individual listeners, and that's all over the world, which is incredible. But we really, really want to be hitting it, in the local with all the people we know and just in this country.
I was going to crack a joke then about earning 30 cents.
Oh yeah, let's not even start on that. But
You earn 30 cents for all those listeners. But it's quite cool. I actually like Spotify. I love data because that's the way my brain works. And when you get in behind Spotify and you look at where people are listening to you from, when we were doing Spank and we had a lot of trumpet, we had quite a lot of Mexican fans, believe it or not. Like our biggest fan base was in Mexico and not in New Zealand. So that, I suppose, is the bonus that you can get out into the world. But like,
I
I
think
think
I think I think our most listened to city is Dublin, which couldn't even work out. I was like, okay, yeah, Dublin, sure, and we I think it's UK and then USA as far as where we're being listened to the most, and but it almost blows your mind just that people, we haven't been over there and people are able to find you and go, hey, that's really cool.
that's so cool. Like, so I'm going to ask you a question about the next big thing now. Have you had a look at the lineups? Who would be somebody that you would definitely not want to miss out of the lineup section
Um,
so far?
So I suppose I'm lucky in that I've gotten to see them before, but Dragonfly, and of course they've just taken first place in the regional rock
Oh,
quest, which is absolutely well deserved. I think I've been able to see them twice now, and both times they were incredible.
they are really
Um,
good.
and and especially at their age, I just think that's great because if they're doing it like this now, you just think what they're going to do within the next couple of years, type thing.
That's right, and it's really important for our young people to be doing music and to be seeing it and to have the opportunity to play in these spaces. We don't want to cut our young people out. They need to be on the bill, and I feel that's really important.
No, exactly, and it is. I think when I was in high school, I wish we had more opportunity for something awesome like this to be done.
Yeah. So if we had a venue in Wairarapa, would you bring your band here to play?
My heart hurts every time I think back to King Street Live because there is nowhere I loved more. Um, and as a band, like we all came through Masterton. We all lived there. We went, most of us at Wairarapa College, and we continuously talk about coming back down. And we just struggle with the venue thing. Get a venue, Masterton, please.
I know. We all aspired to play King Street Live, didn't we? And we all wanted to play there. There was aspiration to play. And so many bands were formed to play at King Street Live. Because when there's a venue, then it creates the desire to play there. I don't know how.
Yeah, King Street was very well set up and was just an amazing space. And obviously, there's factors as to why it kind of, in its later life, was struggling to hold up. But if we had a space similar to that could offer that environment again, Masterton is capable of holding some really good events. It just needs the space.
I agree with you totally. And it had the best green room I've ever been in.
I remember we had pictures of it from the old Pistol stuff, and just because everyone would sign all over the wall and
Yeah, there's that
door.
massive wall of names, wasn't there? It's like, oh,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
played here. I played in the same venue as the Datsuns or She Had or whoever else had played there.
Yeah, yeah, as and especially like in Palmy, we didn't have venues where we had green rooms even. We were down off the stage with everyone else up until we had to go up. Whereas at King Street, yeah, we were sitting up there and I was pacing around, but it's just such a cool thing to be able to sit there and watch down on the other acts and just really enjoy them before you go out there.
Yeah, and I had that couch with the thing that flipped down. Yeah, I know. I always joke at Valhalla that they've got a green shelf where you put your gear at the side of the stage. There is actually not even any space at all at Valhalla, but it's a cool venue. I love Valhalla. Love it.
Oh well, we'll be figuring out later this year. We've already put our Battle of the Bands in, so
Oh, we've done that too, so I'll see
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Which day are
yeah.
you playing?
I haven't heard anything yet. It's just
Message,
waiting.
message Andrew. We're doing the Saturday. I messaged him. I said I want to play on the Saturday, so
Oh,
we can get some people down there. Friday, not Saturday. The Saturday is the semi-finals. But Battle of the Bands, great competition to network and meet people, because that's what it's all about, creating these spaces where we can network and find gigs to do with each other, isn't it?
and especially because before I'd started Shadowcaster, I had 6 years of no playing. I just stopped playing altogether, and so the one thing I've kind of rediscovered is networking is so vital to what we're doing. And it's a big thing for musicians, help each other out.
Indeed. Well, I'm going to have to wrap that up there because my Zoom's probably going to run out of time because I'm not on the premium. But it's been fantastic talking to you. I can't wait to see you. Anything you want to say to the people before we sign off?
I mean, as Shadowcast, we can't wait to play with all the other bands. But the big thing is, if you want a venue there and if you want music to really reappear in Wairarapa, go to these gigs and support your locals. It's so important.
Yeah, come out and support us. I say that. Anyway, Trent, thanks for talking to me. So people out there, you need to come along next Saturday. Come and support Shadowcaster, Dragonfly, because everybody's recommending them. Captivated, Couldn't Know a Jazz Band, Jeff and the Angry Stick, Bravo Uniform Mikes, and Flash Harry's punk at its best. Thanks, Trent. Speak to you soon. Thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you.
Take care. Goodbye.
As I go to sleep, I start wondering, where did you go in the